Our passage from Mark today tells a story in which Jesus talks about what is going to happen at the end of his ministry, namely that he's going to die on a cross and have to rise again in 3 days later. And this would have been to the people of his time somewhat of a surprise. Peter pulling him aside and saying, Jesus, what in the world are you talking about? Makes a lot of sense to anyone living at that time. The idea that the Messiah would die and that was part of the plan was something that wasn't really accepted at that point. But Jesus could kind of see that this is where everything was going. Being God and being the Son of God, he knew that this was what was going to be kind of the end point. And he turns this into a teaching which I think is something of major value, which is namely that anyone who is trying to save their life will end up losing it. Anyone who wants to actually save their life needs to give it up. And this is very much kind of a verse that's talked about a lot within Christian circles and is sort of seen as a sort of model for the Christian faith, and very much is. That it is this idea that we are to give our lives to Christ, that we are to give our lives in service to him, that we are to be open to his will and act in that sort of way. And in that way, we lose our life. We lose that sort of control of our life, but we do end up also saving it in that sort of sense. And I think that is something that we all need to be reminded of every once in a while, that that we are inside of God's will and his sort of plan, and that we ourselves need to give ourselves up to that plan. And if we do so, God is going to bless us, and he is going to save our lives, but also do more than even that. He will execute his plan and his plan that he has for us. All we need to do is just let ourselves give into that. Amen. And now I'd like you all to join me for our last worship song today.